Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Cyrus Webb Presents. I'm your host, Cyrus Webb. So glad you guys could join us today. For those tuning in on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and on X, we're glad that you all can join us. Also, want to welcome in our friends over on Instagram so they can be a part of our conversation for today. And last but certainly not least, we're going to bring in our friends over on Amazon Live so I can reintroduce our guest for today. If you guys are just now staying connected with us, we're glad you all could join us for our live broadcast. And we're now live on Amazon Live with Cyrus Webb Presents. If you guys are new to us on the Amazon platform, welcome. Make sure you guys do hit that follow button. You'll see that here in this corner or down below. You also will see some of the books by our next guest. We're excited to welcome back Harold Phifer to our broadcast today. Harold has written a lot of books. When I first met him, we talked about this book, Surviving Chaos. You all can see it here. Now he has this book out, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. And through his pseudonym, Dean Conan, we're going to be talking about this book, A Fool Indeed. We're going to highlight them in the carousel for you guys as we go throughout our broadcast. Miss Queenie is joining us over there on Amazon as well. But Harold, welcome back to the broadcast.
Thank you. How you doing? I'm glad to be here.
Hey, always a pleasure to speak with you. So I want to talk about it's hard to believe we're wrapping up the month of May. I mean, we're halfway
Mhm.
through the second quarter of 2025. You've been very busy. I had already read My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift in Kindle. It's now available in paperback. What has it been like for you to see the way that people are responding to the newest book from Harold Phifer?
Oh, it's exciting. Kind of journey. I wasn't really sure at first, even though, yeah, I mean, it's kind of my best work. I mean, I create the poem, I create the songs that in it, I created the preaching that in it, and a lot of the humor was already there, but I kind of made sure I jazzed it up a little bit. So I felt good about it, but you just don't know, you just don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah.
It's interesting. That's the first time I've heard you say, Harold, this is could be your best work. What I thought was so interesting about the book initially when I read it was that even though the end of the title is Her Final Gift, it really is in many ways about a new beginning, right? I think that is a
Right.
big part of this story. So, I mean, as I mentioned, people have gotten to know you now, Harold, from different work. As I mentioned, you kind of took us into your life with a book like Surviving Chaos. Of course, there are other times you've been able to share stories of your own. What made you say you wanted to be able to share this particular story?
Well, like I say, kind of was, as they say, kind of popular demand. People in the book Surviving Chaos, people kept asking me about, like, so the one character was my Aunt Kathy, and they, hey, was she really like that, or, or how do you deal with her, or how you coping, with her? So it hit me. She deserved a book herself, and not only that, it's like, oh, I got a few more things to tell you about her. It's like she was just hard to deal with. It's like um, I sent her a birthday card, probably like around her 75th birthday.
Mhm.
And for 20 years, I didn't know she resented that card. All I knew, she
Wow.
sent the money back. Come to find out, the birthday card was one of those that, had those characters like Snoopy or Garfield. Well, the one I sent was like, to my best recollection, was like had Snoopy on it. So
Hmm.
she told my nephew that, you know, I was being nasty. He sent me this birthday card that had a dog on it. And
Hmm.
she took it as an insult, and I'm like,
Right.
it was over my head, right?
Hmm.
And I told my kids, I say, if y'all want to insult me and then put money in the card, I said, you do it every week. Cause, Cause that's what happened. I sent her a card and I sent her a bunch some money. And
Yeah.
she returned the card and the money. And I'm
Wow.
like, I said to my kids, y'all can do it every week. Dad, you've been a bad dad. Here's $500. You know, Dad, you once missed a birthday. Here's $200. Whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. I love that. Brooks Management, Talent Management, hello to you over there on IG. SMF Counseling, hello to you as well. And so I want to talk about I mean, writing for you, having read your other work, Harold, especially the work under your name. We're going to get into Dean Conan here in a bit. But it seems like this has been a part of the therapeutic part of your journey, right? Being able
For
to,
sure.
for one, sharing with people how you became the man you are today, but also the challenges and difficulties you had to overcome to do that. Is that kind of how you see it too?
Yes, for sure, for sure. It's like I did, and I did get counseled, but I had went through a lot of trauma. Just the time I felt like a misfit because you couldn't get it right, and my aunt was always stepping on me. Just felt like I didn't fit in,
Hmm.
and somehow, like I said, the humor would sustain me, and I made sure to show that humor, that lighter side in the book. I didn't want anyone to read either book, Surviving Chaos or My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift, and get caught up in the doldrum or the drama. I was like, yeah, I like to entertain. I can make you laugh, you
Yeah.
know. So I made sure it was plenty of that.
Yeah. So talk about that gift because that in itself is a gift. Not everyone has that. Harold, when did that show up for you as you were dealing with the difficulty, or when did you realize your ability to make people laugh and to have a sense of humor?
My brother, when we was younger, we would find ways to, as they used to say, play the Joneses, and we would attack each other, and all the everybody would gather around and watch me and my brother pick on each other.
Hmm.
So I kind of knew then that I kind of had the ability to make people laugh a little bit, and then I had some friends that are pretty funny, so you kind of borrow some of their material, and and you get better and better at it.
Right. Right. And I think, for some people, I think they will learn and actually be able to see, especially in My Bully, My Aunt and Her Final Gift, Harold, that a lot of times that's how we're able to get through difficulties. I know I had a
Right.
chance to interview Richard Pryor's son, Richard Pryor Jr., and he talked about that too, how laughter became part of the way he was able to deal with the absence of his father and, the addiction. So that's kind of what helped him to be able to get into comedy. So for yourself, the storytelling aspect, then, I mean, what was it like for you to think about this layer of your life of being a published author and being able to use your own story to encourage other people?
You know, I knew some of the things I experienced were very unique,
Hmm.
and I felt sharing that people would either relate and or kind of say, well, maybe some of the things I experienced weren't so bad,
Yeah.
or it's kind of like either or.
Right.
And but regardless how you get there, you want to find a healing. You want to find, so not saying the way I did it was best, but maybe someone may see the way I did it or the way I fought off, say, depression or my put down to get there. Maybe it can help. And I hope it can.
Right. Dr. Taz is joining us over on Facebook. Harold, she says, it's great to have the gift of making people laugh. Humor can help people heal. And that is definitely so true. And I think and I'm glad that she said it is a gift. And even in your title, it allude to it because it's not a gift everyone has. And I think, that is something too for people to be able to realize. Another thing about this particular book, Harold, My Bully, My Aunt and Her Final Gift, is we're able to see, though, how families can impact us in the way we see ourselves. And now, as an adult and kind of reflecting on all of this, what has that lesson been like for you to share with other adults, especially parents and others, about the impact they can have on how a child sees themselves and how they're able to navigate in the world?
Yeah, you have to, as a parent or like you said, mentor, be able
Mhm.
to step back and see what you're doing or saying and how it may weigh on that child or relative.
Yeah.
And it helped me a lot. My kids love me to death.
Mhm.
And I was always aware. There was one or two times, I never try to be the perfect parent. And I explain it to, hey, never try. But I tried to do the best I could. You hear that a lot. And there's a lot of, good intention when people say that. And going through what I went through, yes, I wanted to be far better than when I had it. I wanted to be attentive and to, the way my kids felt. But, there was a mistake. I never forget. My daughter and my son about 11 years apart, and my son was about 2. And I remember me and my ex-wife, we were so giddy about buying this bunny suit for Halloween for my son. And my
Mhm.
daughter had already told me about 2 weeks prior, you need to get me this uniform, blah, blah, blah. And we like, okay, but we didn't take her serious. Well, when it came to time that we went to buy it, they didn't have her uniform anymore. They didn't have her outfit. And boy, she let us have it. You could have bought mine and you put it up because you want to buy it for the little baby. And I felt, because she was right. She was
Yeah.
right. We was all giddy about. So, you know, I wasn't perfect, but I did the best I could. Of course, I made it up to her, but
Right.
but I remember her admonishing us about it, and it was
Mhm.
it was kind of funny, but kind of painful too,
Right.
knowing that I overlooked her. Yeah.
Yeah. One other thing that was painful, you talk about in the book here. I mean, not that
Mhm.
it was kind of funny, but not really funny.
Yeah.
Was you
It's all
getting
funny now.
look when you get in the wackety wackety whack with the broom, uh, for being disobedient. And it
Yeah.
was interesting. What the reason why I'm bringing this up is because one thing I love about your writing, and I saw it in Surviving Chaos, Harold, and I definitely saw it in this book. You don't mind taking responsibility. You start off before the wackety whack by saying that you foolishly chose to disregard the directives
Right.
that you have been given, and there were consequences that you know that came along the way. I think there's a big Miss Queen says the wackety whack. Yes, the wackety whack. But so I want to talk about that because I think
Okay.
that's a great lesson for us, Harold. Because a lot of times we all have heard the saying either actions have consequences,
Hmm.
or there are consequences for our actions.
Right.
You address those pretty honestly. What was it like for you, even as its own teaching tool, to show that okay, when you make certain decisions, when you go against certain things, there can be consequences.
Yeah. And repercussions, right?
And hey, Harold, maybe even concussions.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, even though I was trying to do my own thing, trying to ignore mine, and I didn't like the way she went about it, but I was wrong to go against it. And she beat me down in front of the whole park, in front of all the baseball fans, the whole park. Yeah, that was caught me by surprise, and I never did it again, but yeah.
Right. Right. But I think even in that though, Harold, the fact that you included that because you didn't have to,
Right,
it really shows the balance of this book. But also,
hmm,
I think the lesson that's even in that about how, sometimes, especially as adults, right, we're told, take chances, be bold.
right,
Doesn't work
right.
always when you're under someone
Don't
else's roof,
always right.
you know. So I think that is one of the cool things. So you mentioned something interesting. Todd says not concussions, but you mentioned something interesting, Harold. I want to go back to, and you said it's all funny now. And I
Right.
have learned in my life there have definitely been moments that I looked at and like, Cyrus, that was stupid. Or you
Mhm.
look at a certain situation and you're able to laugh at it. It wasn't funny at the time, but you do
Right.
laugh at it. What has that been like for you to be able to have that retrospection, but also to see that growth in yourself?
Yeah, like I said, like I say, it's funny now. It's like, your parents tell you go get a switch or
Mhm.
boy, I'm gonna cut you a new one, it wasn't funny then, right?
Right,
Right.
right.
But it's funny now, the way they put it. But looking back, you learn like regardless some of the things, well, most of the things you gotta be respectful how you go about it.
Hmm.
And that was when I was sneaky disrespectful, and did a bunch of. I mean, I mentioned in the book like going to the Christmas parade. I mean, I was going come, hell or high water,
Hmm.
and but once I got there and thought I was about to get a beating, I started to, hey, this may not go too well,
Right, right.
Yeah,
And I think that is the great thing. So that is what you've been able to do under Harold Phifer, to share these great stories that are not only relatable to others, but also are able to get people to thinking Todd says that she remembers going to get the switch.
Which,
I, I think that I really think that was corporal punishment to be able to have to go pick your own punishment. so, so let's talk about Dean Conan. So let me reset real
okay.
quick. I see some new people coming in over on Amazon as well as over on IG. Hello to you, Corruption Officer. Good to be to see you. You all are watching Cyrus Webb Presents. We're on Amazon Live, but we're simulcasting on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, and on Instagram. We're speaking with author Harold Phifer today. We're talking with him about his writing journey, his newest book under his name, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. But he also has a book that he's sharing under his pseudonym, his pen name, Dean Conan as well, a full indeed. So we're going to talk about that book next, Harold. So you've been able to write these books under your name. How did Dean Conan come about?
Oh, I felt kind of my chance to really tell some original story, or somewhat
Mm,
original.
gotcha.
Because believe it or not, Surviving Chaos and My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift, I kind of felt like I was laying down history in a sense. And
Mm,
then I go over to on a Dean Conan. I figured, okay, now this is genuine made up.
yeah,
Almost. And so I mean I jumped right into it, couldn't wait. And it's very salacious, I'll admit. It's like I said, sex, betrayal, um, infidelity, and in this book, Fool Indeed, murder, temptation, marriage, loyalty, um, and sex again. Got a lot of sexual innuendos in
yeah,
both books. Okay,
gotcha.
and I wanted to do something different, and that's why I got the different a pen name because
Gotcha.
I want people to learn Harold Pfeiffer with more profound, more genuine, more real, and then Dean Conan stuff that I created.
Yeah. I want to talk about Charlie Moe because Charlie Moe is a complicated character.
Hmm.
Harold, he is not someone who he's not necessarily the overall good guy. I think you kind of give us almost an anti-hero in many respects in Charlie
Hmm.
Moe. How did you see him when you were creating him?
I wanted him to be not too suave, not that dashing great looks,
Hmm.
but a little more than average, but a guy that does stupid things.
Hmm.
I wanted to show that foolishness again and again.
Yeah.
And in a sense, I can relate. Okay,
Oh, okay.
but
Now, Harold, I don't want you to tell up too much on yourself.
no, not that part. But always just doing, always just doing some the wrong turn, wrong time.
Got
Kind of
you.
Charlie Moe.
Got
Yeah.
you. Okay. Okay. The Pharaoh. Hey, Larry. Good to be to see you. Also, a PS Minute. Hello to you over there on IG as well. Chris says, laughter is the best medicine. It's so infectious. You guys have got me in stitches. Well, there's really some funny moments in this book, and it's Chris, especially going back to the book under Harold's name, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift, because there's some interesting lessons, but also, there are some moments that you do find yourself laughing at. And again, as Harold said, now with hindsight being 2020, wounds being healed, he's able to laugh about it as well. So I think that's a
Right.
great thing. So in Charlie Moe, when you first created him, Harold, did you know that he was going to be more than just a one-time thing? Because we got to meet him when Fool Me Thrice, which you and I talked about last time you were on. But did you know that it was going to be more of him initially, or just after the first book did you feel like there was more to tell of his story?
Yeah, I had an inkling after the first one. Yeah, I did. I felt like the way I ended it, it left the door open. And then the juicy stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write some more. I'm gonna
Okay,
bring him back.
right.
And so I tried to start it off more salacious than the first one, but it's kind of humorous, the way it starts off. A Fool Indeed
Hmm.
starts off, him hitting on the preacher wife and hitting on his spouse's or soon to be spouse mom. And I wanted to start it off and then tell the story.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So I kind of want to kind of play with you and then move on with the story.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Miss Magnolia is joining us over there on where is it? Facebook. On Facebook, Miss Magnolia reads. Hello to you. Good to be able to see you. So I want to ask you then, Harold, because I can see you developing two different fan bases with these. One, of course, those who like the nonfiction reads, who like the life lessons, which is what they'll find under Harold Phifer in books like Surviving Chaos and now My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift. Are you finding though there's a lot of crossover in your audiences from the nonfiction to the fiction?
I am. I
Mhm.
am. Yes, I am. Yeah. And one of the things that's kind of consistent, a fool indeed, like I said, you got murder, suspense, more so than the first one. You know, the first one was Fool Me Thrice. It's the first of the series, Fool Me
Right.
Thrice. Money changes everything. But in a fool indeed, like I said, it got the murder, suspense, betrayal. Charlie Moe goes looking for trouble, and trouble finds him. And once
Right.
he finds it, it won't let him go.
Hmm.
And that's part of the lesson, you know. You go looking for something, it may not be so easy to get out of it.
Hmm.
And that's what Charlie Moe found. But one of the things that consists in both books, a little bit twisted, a little bit different, is my infusion of humor. And I purposely do it. Like one I talked about, like I said, even the start, but I talked about him going to the strip club, and none of the girls were to Lamarcus liking. They had bullet holes, and and they they drinking, before they give the dances. And one of the girls give Lamarcus a dance, and she was pregnant, and she charged him double. You know, so it was,
Oh my goodness.
you know, from that to the seeing him working at Mac Roberts, which is kind of like McDonald's, right? He
Hmm.
he worked at Mac Roberts, and the women, wanted. He tried to meet at while working as a teenager. Um, Even back to when he went to the Union Club on campus, on the college campus,
Hmm.
and he met the girl named Molly Hotsy, and he was just smitten. And so he was so smitten. When she told him to get up, he got up. When she told him to go to the bathroom, he went to the bathroom. I mean, it was all on purpose, to kind
Yeah.
of add more humor to the story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you definitely don't mind putting Charlie Moe in some dangerous situations, and I think that's
right.
part of the interesting thing about that series. Hello to you, Stacy, joining us over on Facebook. Stacy says, "I so enjoyed interviewing Harold Phifer. I did watch your interview with Harold; it was really good too." Stacy, thank you so much for joining us. So, I
Yeah,
mean,
thank
you
you,
have the
Stacy.
two books, and we should let our audience know that we have and in fact, Harold, you don't know this, but Chris Irvin, who joined us earlier, he's our lead graphic designer for the magazine. So I should let you guys know
Okay.
Harold's going to be featured in an upcoming issue of Conversations magazine coming out in June. So we're very excited about that. Harold, I want to talk to you about one last thing, and that is one thing you've done is you've created your own lane. As people can tell behind you, I love the marketing there with Rise and Read. A lot of people are waiting on other people to tell their stories. You've taken the control in your own hand and started your own publishing company with Rise and Read. Talk to us about what led you to create Rise and Read.
But actually, I was trying to separate the two genres.
Okay.
Like say, Dean Conan with Fool Me Thrice, Money Changed Everything, and Dean Conan with A Fool Indeed is fiction.
Hmm.
And my baby, because my bully, my aunt, and her final gift, and surviving chaos, or nonfiction. So that kind of got the ball going, and I've I've talked to some people who either want me to write or ghostwrite for them. So that's kind of in the works,
Gotcha.
and so I'm trying to build on it, but once trying to get mine off the ground first before I venture too far, of course.
Gotcha. Love that. Well, it's a lot for us to be able to enjoy. Great time for the summer. I'm excited to let you guys know we did announce that on Friday. Conversations is going to be releasing its summer reading list for this year. Harold's book, My Bully, My Aunt, and Her Final Gift, is on that list. So you'll find that and 24 other great titles on the list that we're releasing. So this is the first time we're announcing one of the 25 books that's featured on our summer reading list by Conversations. It's coming out this Friday. Harold's book is one of those books. You guys are going to really enjoy this book. There's a lot in here. Again, yes, it's part of Harold's life, but it's also some great life lessons and reminders, I think, for all of us. So, Harold, thank you so much for the great reads. Thank you for a great conversation. Let our audience know, how can they stay connected with you?
Yes, appreciate it. You can go to my website, riseandread.com, like get up and read, riseandread.com.
Mhm.
And you can join my, you contact me there, uh, join my list, or you can go to my Facebook, which is Harold Phifer 2024, or Instagram 2024. DM me or message me on Facebook, either or, get in contact, give me your advice or suggestion, or if you got something going on and want me to comment on it, I'll take a look at it.
Love it. Well, Harold, congratulations. Looking forward to our next conversation together in June.
All right, sounds great. I look forward to it too. I really
All
appreciate
right.
it.
And we thank your audience for tuning in to another great segment of Cyrus Webb Presents. Until next time, you all make it a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.
All right, thanks, sir. Okay.